Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheswara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahi Tejasvinavadhitamastu Mahavidyushavaihi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hope you all are with me. If you are not with me, try to be with me. Don't try to be with your past, with your experiences, or with your old habits. Because teaching demands your attention, your presence. If you are not present, you will be the loser. How? We have been talking in details regarding this body, how this body is connected to the totality, and moreover, what is there in totality called Brahmanda also is there in this Pinda, in this body. While discussing all these things in details, we started talking about nadis. So there are innumerable nadis. But out of them, only 3,50,000, which is called 350,000 nadis are main. So there is some differences in translation I have made. Earlier it was some 3 million something. So please, we'll correct it. And out of this 350,000 nadis, 14 nadis were considered as most important. And again in 14 there are 3 nadis. Ida, Pingala and Sushumna. Ida left side, Pingala right side, Sushumna in center, and they are overlapping, also interconnected. Interestingly, we saw another nadi which nobody talks. Very rarely people do talk about that. So that was called Chitra. So which is again inside Sushumna and connected to Brahmarandhra. That also we have seen in details. And interestingly, after talking all these things, also we saw another point, very interesting point. Here we saw, even though we say that Ida is a Chandranadi and Pingala is a Suryanadi and Susumna, hope you remember, stands for Agni Tattvam. But interestingly, that Ida Nadi joins, the end of this thing joins, or the opening is not in the left nostril but in the right nostril. And Pingala has its opening or joins in left nostril. This is very unique information over here. Actually, which opens up your practice much more. And remember, it is not contradicting at all. So it is how when you keep practicing, please understand, you see the impact. But Surya Nadi and this Chandra Nadi, that continues, but the impact is entirely different. As you keep practicing, you will come to know all about it. Then as it keeps explaining further, says that is what we saw in the last class, 30 and 31st, both the verses, where it is said beautifully that as these nadis, they have their own branches and sub branches. So when they have their branches and some branches, they are spread all over the body. And when they are spread all over the body, in fact, they control everything, in short, including flow of the air. Forget about the flow of blood and all these things, that is secondary. Flow of air, because blood flowing this through blood vessels is very easy, because when air flow is being controlled by this, water flow is not a big thing to control, because to control air flow is more tougher. So in short, it regulates, it monitors, it manages, or you can say it controls all sort of movement of the body, including air flow all over the body. So that means for a sadhaka, nadi is more important than blood vessels. That's why sometimes really I wish, as things keeps improving, we should do some research, keeping some sadhakas and having our own lab. That was my idea, keeping something in my mind, because nothing got materialized. Having own lab, each and every aspect to be really experimented, because so-called intellectuals, they only look at the papers, they do not look at anything at all. So for them we have to prepare this, all these practical things or all these experiments, so that they will understand all about it. However, pointed here says beautifully that the most important aspect of these nadis are, as they are available almost everywhere, and of course they do monitor, they regulate everything. That's why if you take care of the nadis, if really you are careful related to the nadi, I am sure you can bring a big change in your life. Now further it says, which is interesting, so that we'll see how and why, where it goes. It goes very nicely and systematic. Let us read the next verse. Verse number 32 and 33 together. Surya Mandala Madhyastha Kaladvadasa Samyutaha Vasti Deshe Jwalat Vanhi Vartate Chatra Pachakaha Esha Vaishwanaro Nirvai Mama Tejosa Sambhavaha Karote Vividham Pakam Praninam Dehamastitaha Surya Mandala Madhyastha Kaladvadasa Samyutaha Vasti Deshe Jwalat Vanhi Vartate Chatra Pachakaha Esha Vaishwanaro Nirvai Mama Tejosha Sambhavaha Karote Vividham Pakam Praninam Dehamastitaha. Beautiful concept again comes, which is somehow same thing has been discussed in Bhagavad Gita also. In 15th chapter, especially before food, we chant Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamashrita Pranapana Samayukta Pajamyannam Chaturvidam. I hope you remember, okay? Because you say, look, that is what the most painful thing. When we are hungry, beautiful food is served in front, and fragrance and whatnot, and moreover the deep fried ones. And that time you say, you chant this Bhagavad Gita. What a painful thing to happen. Saliva will be coming out, all these things, but in spite of that we manage. That's why we love only thing that, you know what, to say, Swamiji, we are very happy with you, because always say, Anna Punne Sada Punne Shankara Prana Vallave, so that it becomes shortcut, it's easy for us, easy for everybody. So I am planning to make it longer now. We have to chant Bhagavad Gita. In fact, now I will be introducing something new. I am noticing some changes. So that's why each time I have to slowly introduce. Before class, we will have Guru Stotra. So if you people don't have, I will start sharing with you all. So that let us chant Guru Stotram, get it tuned, because I am noticing many of you are scattered. So scattered mind will not work. I know all of you have your own problem, all of you have got your own atmosphere, own thing, no doubt in it, but at the same time, be in the present. Coming back here. So, this is Bhagavad Gita. What is being talked in Bhagavad Gita? That Aham Vaishwanara Bhutva. Same point he says beautifully. So, I am going to verse number 33. Then I will come back to 32. Little bit I am doing differently. Same thing. Esha Vaishwanara Agnihi Mama Tejamsa Sambhavaha. So Lord Shiva here says. So the Vaishwanara Agni means the digestive fire that you see. And of course, where is it? That is verse number 32. So it is born from a portion of me. Amsa Sambhava. Whereas in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Bhagavan, because it says, Aham Vaishwanara Bhutta. I myself is Vaishwanara Agni. I myself is the digestive fire. And I am the one who digests all the food, all 4 types of food. That means whatever you eat, it is me who digests. That's why one has to be very careful what you eat, how you eat, what you don't eat, what you should not eat. A lot of processes comes because of that reason. We'll be seeing little bit carefully here also. Says Esha Vaishwanara Agnihi Mama Tejamsa Sambhavaha Karoti Vividam Pakam. Whether you have to chew solid food, whether it is payam drinkable, leham lickable, all sort of food, different types of food, vividam. It is me who burns it, who digests it. And remember where? Me being in the body of all the living beings. And the fire, digestive fire, Lord Shiva says, digestive fire is one portion of me, but in Bhagavad Gita, it is me itself. The God himself says, it is me. Because there it goes much more further. Because say that the food that you eat is me, where you are put is, that is me, everything is me. So here, and what is that? He says, Surya Mandala Madhyastha Kala Dwadasa Sanyuta. I hope you understood what is Surya Mandala. Because we have discussed Chandra and Surya. 8 kalas and 12 kalas. Don't ask me when we talked all these things, okay? We have discussed all these things before. So, that is said that Surya Mandalastha. So, basically, you can say lower abdomen. If you want to use this word. So he says beautifully, now in that Surya Mandala, in that region, he uses the word, in fact, says Basti Deshe. The word he uses is Basti because of that region. Basti Deshe. That's why in especially what he call in Ayurveda, there is something when the person is fluctuating too much, thinking very fast, not stable, they give Basti. So when they give Basti, that's beautifully it works. So the person settles down, mind settles down, thinkings calm down. So in that particular region, they keep a lot of oil and different treatments. Some oil, it differs from treatment to treatment. Because an Ayurvedic doctor must have the scriptural background. Without scriptural background, a person cannot become Ayurvedic doctor. However, that's why I can openly say, without studying scripture or coming this background strictly, one cannot become Ayurvedic doctor. I have seen some of the Ayurvedic doctors have been converted to different religion. They are utter failures. They only know how to make money, how to sell products. It doesn't work. This is my personal observation. I may be wrong. However, coming back here says beautifully that there what happens, Jolad Vannihi Bartate Cha Atra Pachakha. So there itself what it does, in Surya Mandala, in the, let us say, in that particular place, the region of the Surya sun, now being with the 12 kalas, there is fire, and that fire is called as Vaishwanara Agni. What you call as digestive fire in English. And that food, that fire only digests all sort of food that you take. Or else what will happen? Whatever food you have, again it will come out. That's why he says here that fire is nothing but it's me. So when that fire is me, it is my responsibility. This is what we come to the point here. It is the responsibility of a sadhaka to keep that fire stronger, which already I have spoken few days before. Because the key of all these nadis and other things coming down to make sure your fire is stronger. You will be able to really surprised to see this point. Whenever your digestive fire is weak, your worries and anxieties takes over. Psychologist will say, no, because of worries and anxieties, your digestion is weaker. Doctors will say, because of your disease, your digestive fire is weak. But it's not truth. Yoga says very clearly, when your digestive fire is weak, that time your worries and anxieties take over. You feel very insecure. You feel unnecessarily challenged in your life. Just observe your day whenever there is, whenever your digestive fire is weaker, how you feel. And of course, in short, those whose digestive fire is weaker, always they are restless. There is uncertainty in them. Lot of turmoil in them. Just observe this point very carefully for yourself. Because digestive fire is something, it's a very vital thing to look at in our life. And of course, it will be talking how and what to do, what not to do. we'll be seeing, don't worry, that aspect will come little later on. That's why you need to be little careful with reference to your digestive fire. That's why make sure you are making or keeping that fire not only alive, stronger. That's why look at a child. As long as the child is hungry, as long as the child is really able to digest food properly, that time that child never bothers, never becomes cranky. Can move anywhere and everywhere freely, absolute no problem. The moment the child's digestive fire goes down, all sort of things will happen. Always will stick to the mother, will do all sort of wrong things. Just observe this point. And especially whichever child is very hungry when she eats anything and everything, that child will move anywhere, everywhere, makes no difference. Only when hunger comes, will come back. And feed, again that fellow will go away. So if it happens with reference to a child, it can happen with reference to anybody in our life. Please understand, this is the most important aspect in your life. That's why next verse let us look at how it is. Ayu pradayako vanni balam prishtim dadati saha sarira patavanchapi dvastaroga samudbhava. Ayu pradayako vanni balam pushtim dadati saha sharira patavanchapi dvastaroga samudbhava. Beautiful. The fire is everything, in short. The digestive fire, let us say, is everything, in short. Ayu pradayaka gives longevity. And not only that, says that, gives balam pushtim, the strength and also the beauty of your body, the handsomeness, you can say, or beautifulness, that also comes from there. So that means the strength outside, strength inside, both comes from that fire. Pushti is in inner strength. And not only that, if you look at all sort of nourishments as strength and nourishments, I put it, and also the body becomes energetic is only because of that fire. And interestingly, Dvasta Roga Samudbhava destroys all sort of diseases, and of course it gives the health. So that means your health completely depends upon the fire. Now comes down, can you see how it comes down to this? So that's why the digestive fire is so important. Every moment, that's why the lifestyle is completely done based on this, or to keep this fire stronger. That's why in India, because the Britishers came and destroyed a lot, which actually Mughals could not do it. They forcefully tried, but nothing could happen. But these people destroyed very systematically. How? Simple thing. Because we did not have this breakfast concept. India did not have breakfast concept at all. So these people came and destroyed, this thing, injected this breakfast. Then there is nothing lunch. So all the lunch became afternoon. Nowadays all of you are afternoon lunch, after 2. Then dinner, because the whole day working, these people will work, dinner, elaborate dinner. 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Because I say after 10 o'clock only asuras eat, okay? If you are eating after night 10 o'clock, 10 p.m., definitely you are an asura. There is no doubt in it. And whenever you eat, please understand, definitely that day you are an asura. What I am trying to say is here is all Indian lifestyle, the food habit, everything was done in such a way that all the time, in every situation, every circumstances, your digestive fire will be stronger. I'll give you a beautiful example which I went through recently this time. We have very strong sayings on which day which vegetable you should have. You cannot eat all sort of vegetable every day. I don't know how many of you are aware of it. There are restrictions. On Prathama day, I mean first day, what are the vegetables? Second day, third day, fourth day. So what are the vegetables are not to be taken on that day, you are not supposed to take. If you take, definitely your digestive fire will be weaker. You name it, including different type of fruits and berries. It has its own restrictions month-wise. Particular that month you cannot have that berry, that fruit, even if you want. I'll give a beautiful example which we had in India, in Odisha. Two examples I'll give you. As a child we used to really fight nothing, but nobody cares, nobody listens that time. Like when we were children, we were not allowed to eat mango, small mangoes. Because they will say, because they could not explain much. Unless the mango is being offered to the God, because the God will come particular time, during holy time. Unless the deities comes out and is being offered to them, you cannot eat. That was their explanation those days. But we all will go crazy because in front of us, like small ones, okay, will be hanging. And we love, because more than mango, that, do you know that water of that mango, you can say that, what do you call? Okay, whatever, that when you break that stem, that water comes. It's so nice smell. Of course, when it touches, it can bond literally and some wound may come. But nothing like that is putting inside the rice, okay? In the water rice especially. The fragrance is super. You can't believe it. And we go crazy. And especially in Toir Sadam, okay? Curd rice, little bit watery curd rice. And in that, if you break it and push it, what a fragrance. Just I am explaining the concept. But we were not allowed. Unless the God eats, you cannot. Because it's based on the month. Because it brings down the fire, digestive fire. And recently, as I went through, one particular berry is there. They said that particular month, one is not supposed to have that berry at all. Because it is kaphakaraka. It creates a lot of coffee in you. And when I was in Odisha this time, because I saw after many years, and of course it was falling down, ripened, I went crazy. And I ate. And you know what happened? So what I am trying to highlight here is that each food that we eat also matters. So our concern should be, especially if you want to be a happy person, this is called yogic tradition. If you want to be a happy person, if you want to be a healthy person, you cannot eat what you want. In short, whatever you eat, you have to make sure whether your digestive fire is maintained or not. If you are a dietitian, you look at whether all the minerals, this, that is there or not. Please understand, this will not work in long run. Whereas if you try to maintain the digestive fire, I have seen people till death, they have maintained their digestive fire. And as long as you have maintained your digestive fire, I'll tell you, that long you will be healthy. That's why be conscious with reference to food that you eat. In short, let us, how is it possible? Says this next verse. Tasmad Vaishwanaragnincha Prajwalya Vidhivat Sudhi Tasmin Annam Huned Yogi Pratyaham Guru Shikshaya Tasmad Vaishwanaragnincha Prajwalya Vidhivat Sudhi Tasmin Annam Huned Yogi Pratyaham Guru Shikshaya. What the verse says and what you people do. The verse says very carefully. Here, you need the guidance of the teacher. The lifestyle completely guided by the teacher. The food habit has to be supported by the teacher. But what you do? You change the teacher. Swamiji, you should eat this. So what poor Swamiji? What choice this Swami has? Swamiji, you must try this. You must eat this. And Swamiji, you know, we are different. So can we change the dinner time? Okay. What else to do? And if I don't, Swamiji is not adjusting. Swamiji is very adamant. You understand? So Swamiji has to accommodate you. This is called now tradition, okay? So the teacher has to accommodate student. The student does not want to accommodate teacher. It's a very unfortunate thing. The student does not want to accommodate. But all the time expects that the teacher must accommodate student. Now tell me, what you will learn? Will you grow? Will you do anything in your life? Just see this point. I'm sorry, but this is the truth, this is the reality. That's why it says beautifully, a well-behaved person, Sudhihi, whose buddhi, whose thinking is well managed. That means the person who functions in keeping with buddhi, the discriminative power. That's why I put a well-behaved person, not moody person, not, according to your fancies and your preferences, your insecurities. So he says beautifully, the well-behaved person, what does it mean? He says beautifully, Tasmad Vaishwanara Agnincha Prajvalya, need to kindle this digestive fire. Because already it is there, you need to keep kindling it, keep fanning it. Means all the time you need to put effort. And says beautifully that there is a proper rites rituals. This is the most important aspect in food. And of course, it says beautifully, Tasmin Annam Huned Yogi. That yogi, what he does, then only offers that food inside. And that too, Pratyaha, daily, without any failure, with this attitude. And how is it? Guru Shikshaya, with the help of the teaching of the teacher. How and why? Shortly I can go ahead with this. Please understand, when you are offering the food, that's why we say food, taking food is a ritual. You cannot eat the way you want. I'm sorry to bring today this point because the topic has come. What can I do? Because all sort of wrong talks has to come during food time. So dinner or lunch is the time for gossip. It's a disaster life, which is not acceptable. But I am changing, because if I don't do, you will say, look, this Indian Swami is behaving funny, especially in overseas. I am sorry to say. I adjust, I manage what else to do. And sometimes when you people come to ashram, when I say something, you don't listen, you continue. I say, okay, after all they are here for a few days, let them do. Because if I am strict, then you will say, no, Swamiji is very strict, Swamiji is very funny. So why should I take that disclaimer? You understand? How does it matter to me? Okay, I continue. After all, let me also, if you want to be entertained, okay, let me entertain. I am not telling you jokes. A few days back, I was having lunch. I don't know why Ranjan brought up one topic. Generally never does. Because he knows that while having food I don't talk nothing, just food, he stands and serves. And there is a way also, which he is very good, to be very honest. I am very happy with his serving, no doubt in it. I don't know what made him to bring a topic. I also allowed, because generally he doesn't do, maybe some reason is there. And okay, I had to listen to it. Okay, no problem. I was talking to him also. You may believe it or not, after that my food was not digested. I am the person can digest anything and everything. Food did not get digested. So when it did not get digested, please understand, I did not know what to do. I was feeling very uncomfortable. Of course I understood, because of this it has happened. This is a very simple logic I am giving. That's why before food, this was a practice. Now Corona teaches you. And of course I have seen also, after I have seen many times, especially in overseas, after washing their hand, they will use the towel to wipe. And which towel? The towel has been used by many. Somewhere it will be now, lying down. I am sorry to point out few points, okay? The rule is, we say very clearly and carefully, before food you are supposed to have panchasnanam, and after food you are supposed to have panchasnanam. Unless it is extremely cold and there is no other facility. When I say panchasnanam, washing the feet, 2 feet, 2 hands and face. Panchasnanam is supposed to be done before food, and after food also this panchasnanam is supposed to be done. You can start with this thing. Through this you will see the difference in your digestive fire. This is a long list, okay, to make this a digestive fire. That's why Guru Shiksha, because you people are not interested, you people want to teach me table manners. Sometimes I really get shocked and surprised. Because a few idiots who do not know anything, I'm sorry to say, they taught how to sit on the table. Till now there is a confusion all over the world. Till now, whether to keep the elbows on the table while eating or not to keep on the table. There are 2 schools of philosophy, very big fight with each other. One group will say you have to keep your elbows, especially left hand, on the table and eat. Other group will say no, that is not right. Till now these 2 groups are not able to join together. And I don't want to talk, there are many more like this, okay? If I try to talk a lot, and especially Italians, they are worse. which side should be fork and which side should be spoon. And as long as you are keeping eating, how to keep the fork and spoon. Once you have done, how to keep it. Mamma mia. Because they don't have anything to do, this is what they spend their time, okay? Okay, it is a very nice thing to learn from a distance. Curiosity, out of curiosity is perfect. And people are crazy, and those who have done the whole life like this, they have not done anything much. Only holding on their insecurity, holding on their own thinking. Please, and I see in some of you same thing. And the worst thing is you impose on me. And I say, okay. In fact, sometimes I say in Italian, bo, ma, this much I have learned in that. Because what we call as a disclaimer, okay? What else to do? Because I have to adjust, and after all, because here it shows very clearly, hey, you guys are learning from me or not, I don't know, but definitely I am learning from you all. This much I can say openly and clearly. That's why we have certain things, what to do before food, what to do while having food, and what to do after food. And it is being taught. That's why as a child, I remember very carefully, we were taught in this way. As a child, we were not allowed to sit with the grandmother during food time. We will be sitting along with, when grandfather will be eating, along with the grandfather will be eating. So when we start eating with grandfather, because grandfather has to follow the rule. You understand? So we picked up many things, many habits from our grandfather. But if the grandfather himself doesn't know, this is the present situation, okay? And of course, there was another rule, very clear rule, though in earlier days. Generally, nobody sees grandchild, okay? The moment you give, once your son gets married, your children, daughter of course, married earlier. Once your son is married, you are supposed to go for Vanaprastha. So you are not connected to the grandchild in earlier days. Because the child has to learn everything from the teacher in Gurukulam. That was safe actually. And especially when the child goes in a young age, because maximum age to Gurukulam, go to Gurukulam is 12 years, maximum. It can start from 6 years. 6 generally goes 6, 9, 12. So that is the right time. So that's why parents never see the teenage problem. Parents are not exposed to anything. So the child is being happily brought up, emotionally, all the way is brought up by teacher. And interestingly, teacher handles in such a way that they are not against teacher. And the tradition was continuing. However, here he says beautifully, so to maintain this digestive fire, you need to follow certain things. To start with, make sure that you are putting food called fuel into this fire to make the fire active, not to dump food in your stomach. When I say dump food, I have seen many people, little bit food is left, let me eat, why to throw? That means what? Your stomach is a dump pad or what? Dustbin or what? You understand what I am trying to say? And something is left in the fridge. This freeze is another destruction. Heat, eat and eat. Completely lazy mind. You have time for worries and anxieties. You have time for a disease. You have time for computer. You have time for WhatsApp and Facebook. But you don't have time to cook. And all these pastes are available in Italy, okay? Ready-made paste. Disaster. Which is not acceptable to me. I am sorry to say, it is not acceptable to me at all. Which is not healthy. Just look at the tomato sauce. I am sorry to bring this point. Tin tomato sauce, bottle tomato sauce, you know, hundreds of varieties. You think they are healthy? First of all, the tomato itself is not healthy. Please understand. The tomato that we are eating nowadays, that itself is not healthy. Because you do not know what sort of pesticides, how they have manipulated the gene and what not. That is another issue. When the tomato itself is not healthy and you are so lazy, you want to add tomato paste. You understand how that unhealthy thing continues in you? But what happens? You all want to, take care of your tongue and take care of your, fullness. The obsession with food. You understand? These two things you are crazy. You are obsessed with the quantity, with the quality, your own way, and tongue. If these three aspects are being taken care, you think you have taken the best food today. Do you agree with me or not? That day you say that you have taken the best food. The day these two obsessions with reference to quality and quantity addressed and your tongue addressed. But have you ever observed not what your tongue wants, but what this fire wants? Because this fire to be not only alive, the fire is to be active. You never think of. You never know that there is a fire. If I ask all of you, when did you feel your last hunger? You do not know when to recollect. Many of you do not feel the hunger, but you eat. And of course, medical science highlights nowadays that you have to you should not give longer gap. You have to eat. Let me not get into too much in details, okay? However, he says very carefully, I don't want to, that's why, because Guru Shiksha, that's why today I got a chance to talk. Or else I was supposed to open my mouth. Okay, you continue the way you are. That's why I am not telling you jokes. If my food is being taken care properly, I deliver the best. This is my secret. If the food is being taken care properly, I deliver the best. Today I am able to talk properly because I am here. Ranjan is taking care of my food. It's not that I don't have luxurious food, please understand. I don't have fancy food. I make sure my digestive fire must be maintained. And if the digestive fire is being maintained, I'll tell you, always your mind will be fresh, mind will be active, mind will be really in a creative mode. And if your digestive fire is not maintained, please understand, I don't want to talk. Let us look at the next verse, because I thought of covering many verses. Let us look at two verses together. Brahmanda sangyake dehe sthanani syurbuhani cha syubahuni cha mayuktani pradhanani ज्ञातव्यानि ह शास्त्र के नाना प्रकार नामानि स्थानानि विविधानि च वर्तन्ते विग्रहे तानि कथितुं नैव शक्यते ब्रह्मांड संज्ञके देहे स्थानानि स्युर्बहूनि च मयुक्तानि प्रधानानि ज्ञातव्यानि ह शास्त्र के नाना प्रकार नामानि स्थानानि विविधानि च वर्तन्ते विग्रहे तानि कथितुं नैव शक्यते. Now it says beautifully. Now how it summarizes a little differently. All of us we know Brahmanda Sangyake. Brahmanda is called the totality. Pinda Brahmanda. But he says, this body is called Brahmanda. In fact, I had to translate very carefully, putting little spicy in it. So that's why I put it. The body called the Brahmanda, as everything that is in Brahmanda, in macrocosm, is present in this body. Can you see how it shifts? Means he does not see the difference between Brahmanda and Pinda. That sort of understanding should come. Because when you make your, digestive fire stronger, I was talking about this atapi jirno bhava, batapi jirno bhava. I hope you remember that story. That is the truth, that is the reality. That's why if you observe, I don't want to really encourage or I don't want to fuel you many unnecessary information. That's what the verse says very carefully. Not to give too many informations. But in Tantra practices, we have a lot of concept on this, related to this digestive fire. Anyway, however, he says beautifully, that this body has got many parts. And of course, I have described most important of them in this text. And of course, they are ought to be known, you are supposed to know. But there are many other names that is also uncountable, and there are uncountable places in this body. All of them cannot be described, need not be described. Just to keep quiet. Because this is not right time to give lot of information to you. Because this text is not to increase your curiosity. Whatever has been said, work on it. Or else you will start intellectualizing everything. You will try to understand in your way everything. Whether you understand or overstand, that is up to you, okay? You never understand, always you overstand. Because when you think that you understand, that is called not understanding, overstanding, okay? Overconfidence. So you are supposed to understand. That's why you say, Vidya dadati vinayam. The more you understand, the more you become humble. Humility is the outcome of understanding. But if there is no humility, that is not understanding, we call that is called overstanding. However, says beautifully, need not be discussed. Now, few points talks how this jiva, how this individual moves. I think we'll stop already, time is another few minutes. We'll see tomorrow how this jiva is being tied up with this karma shrunkhala. Beautiful point brings karma shrunkhala. Shrunkhala means a chain, a lockup. So we jivas are tied down with the chain of the action and reaction. So that means we are tied down by ourselves. Nobody has tied you down. Today who you are will be talking, because already I have given you all these verses. Okay, we can take this verse and stop it. Okay, 38 will take it. Ittam prakalpite dehe jivo vasati sarvagah anadi vasana malalam krutah karma shrunkhalah. Ittam prakalpite dehe jivo vasati sarvagah anadi vasana malalam krutah karma shrunkhalah. Says beautifully, as this body we have described, we have discussed in details before. This says, Jiva vasati sarvagah. The Jiva, the individuality, dwells everywhere in this body, means every part of the body. Because we discussed what is Jiva. Jiva is nothing who is identified with this body, who wants to enjoy this body, who wants to make use of this body, who is insecure with happens to body. I hope you remember, recollect all these things is discussed earlier. So that's why each portion of the body is you, including the nail that you remove, that to be protected. You understand? The nail that you have removed, that is also to be protected. The hair that falls down, also to be protected. That's why sometimes you see, oh, so many hairs have fallen down, what to do? I think I have to change my shampoo. Hey, you have to change your shampoo or you have to change your food habit. Anyway, let me not get into, okay? However, coming back here carefully, says this Jiva, this individuality dwells everywhere. So in this body, everywhere this individual is there, because each portion of your body is, you are being attached to it. And moreover, he says beautifully, the worst thing is anadi vasanalam krutaha. The person, this individuality, is being adorned with, adored, being garlanded with, decorated with such a huge garland. And what is that garland? Vasana, all sort of impression. And how big that impression? Where did it start? Anadi, beginningless, means endless also. Innumerable. So that means you are being decorated with the impressions which you are carrying forward since the beginning of this creation. And remember, those impressions pushes you to do many things and creates a series of actions and reactions, and you are caught up, you are tied down with that chain. So basically, you are caught up by yourself. You are tied down by yourself. Nobody ties you down. Nobody ties you down. Don't say that, I am stuck with my family. Don't say that I am stuck with this, I am stuck with that, I am stuck with my guru. Also can say somebody, okay? Nobody is stuck with anybody, remember. It is your karma and karma phala that ties you down, of course, through your impressions, because impression subconsciously pushes you. We'll see in details how this karma theory, how basically these impressions makes you crazy in your life in details tomorrow. Please close your eyes. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.